I'm Laura, and very early on in my career, I developed a little bit of an obsession for using technology to make people's lives better. Nowadays, that obsession's become one of being obsessed with the teams and the people that are obsessed with using technology to make people's lives better. And I work for a little software company called Xero. So at Xero, we build cloud accounting software for small businesses. We've got over 800 businesses online on our products all over the world. And, accounting software doesn't really sound that sexy, right? And in fact, if you told me several years ago that I would end up building accounting software, I would have cringed or laughed, or I wouldn't have believed you. I could never imagine back then that this industry could be as exciting and innovative as it is today. Let alone could I have thought that accounting software could be beautiful. And Xero is often referred to as beautiful both inside Xero and outside of Xero. And so what does it mean when we say beautiful? And to me, beauty is not just an aesthetic. Beauty is an entire experience. It's how we feel about something. How many of you have met somebody who you think's really good looking potentially, and you want to get to know them a little bit better? Only that after you do, their personality starts to shape your experiences with them, and you find them a little less beautiful. Or the alternative to that, you find somebody you wouldn't normally look twice at, only to get to know them and experience these beautiful things with them, and this person becomes beautiful to you. So that to me is what beautiful is all about. And it was about 2 weeks in to working at Xero, I met this lady on the screen called Kate. Now Kate's a Xero customer. She owns a little shop in Hawthorne called Blackbird and Fox. And I walked into Kate's store on my way home from work one day because I was very late with getting my mum a Mother's Day present and desperately needed one. Now, as I walked up to the counter, Kate turned to me and she said, "Oh, do you work at Xero?" Now, when I realized I was wearing my Xero t-shirt, which was kind of a giveaway, said yes, expecting her to give me a list full of features that she wanted me to build for her, or that she wanted problems that she was having with the application. Instead, she beamed from ear to ear, and she began to tell me just how much this product had changed her life, and how much she loved this product, Xero. And I'd never seen anything like this before. And this wasn't uncommon. There seems to be a lot of love for this product called Xero. And, first of all, I start thinking, okay, what's in the water these guys are drinking? This is a product, it's software. How can somebody feel such a strong human emotion for a piece of software? Hands up if you've fallen in love before. Yeah? It's a very strong emotion. Hands up if you've fallen out of it. None of you guys here have fallen in love. Oh. Hands up if you've fallen out of love as well. Yeah. That's the funny thing with love. You end up loving somebody, you can end up hating somebody in the same breath. But how can you make software that people love? So what I thought I'd do today is talk a little bit about what goes on, or why people love software, and also a little bit about how you actually can create software that people love. And I've got a couple of thoughts of my own on this that I wanted to share with you, and maybe pose a couple of questions along with that as well. So why is it that you can take, we start building a product, we take a customer problem, or we look for a target customer, we take a problem, a unique problem, and we want to solve it for them. And hopefully we do it better than our competitors, and hopefully they buy the product, and we've achieved this product market fit. That's kind of like, very early on in my career when I was doing a lot of digital work, and we do a lot of online conversion work. And what we would want to do was get the customer to click the conversion button. So there was a bit of a motive for us there. So we put a bit of makeup on, we were trying to get that first date. We'd put our best foot forward, we show them everything we have. But it's a little bit different to actually now dating this customer. What happens when you wake up and they're still there in the morning, and every morning and morning after that, and they're still around? Their needs all of a sudden change, and they expect a little bit more from you. So I was searching the internet a little bit, as you do, and there's a whole heap of these life gurus and relationship gurus that talk about these core needs that humans all, they all need to be fulfilled with. And these ones are, that big guy, Tony Robbins, the big loud guy that gets up on stage and yells at you. These are his. And I started to think about these in the context of what we might expect from our products when we're using them. if we're having a relationship with these products and that these products are one that we can actually fall in love with. So certainty came up. So, if I really don't want to go home and find that the person I've been dating for the last 4 or 5 years is somebody completely different. Likewise, when I log into a program or application that I've been using for the last 5 months and realize the whole thing's been overhauled, that's a really unnerving experience for me. I might want to do a key workflow and all of a sudden I can't because I don't know where the button is anymore. I want to be able to share with my friends or my closest family maybe some secrets or some personal information that I have about myself. Likewise, I don't want my data to not be safe when I'm using a piece of software. I want everything to be secure. There's a certain element of trust that goes into these relationships. And if I'm feeling a little bit down or maybe excited about something and I want to call my best friend for a chat, I kind of want her to pick up the phone or want to know that she's going to call me back at some point as well. Likewise, if I need to work on my accounting or I need to do something in a product, I don't want to rock up and realize it's down, there's something wrong. I want to have sort of guarantee that this product's going to be available to me when I need to use it. And likewise, in a little bit of a contradiction, we all expect an element of variety in our lives. You remember when you first fell in love, that whole period of courting, those small little moments of delight, the wow moments, the thing that made you like a piece of software for the first time when you started using it. These things wane after a little bit of time. And remember, for those of you who are in love on this side of the room, there's Valentine's Day next week as well. But it's the equivalent of these little surprises and little flowers. I log in and all of a sudden there's a feature that I've been waiting for a long time and the application's telling me and it's known I've been waiting for this. Those little moments of delight and continuing them is really important. I want to feel important. I want to feel like I know what I'm talking about. Don't make me feel stupid when you talk to me. Don't make me feel stupid when I'm using your products. And of course, love and connection. When you are talking to me, I want to know that you care as well. We released a big change to our product a little while ago, and we changed a core function, a piece of functionality. It was our contacts list. And this was something that the product team had been working on for a long time behind closed doors, and finally unveiled it to the world, all in one go. And now we were faced with a lot of pushback from customers, and we learned a lot from this. It was the wrong time of year. It was core tax time. People were jumping in to want to do their work. And we then changed their core workflows on them suddenly. And also, we didn't let them know that it was coming. It was kind of like a big surprise. Here you go. And we got a lot of flack for that. A lot of customers, writing to us, tweeting to us, calling us up, "What have you done? You've ruined my life." But we really cared about that. And we told them. We fixed it really, really quickly. We rolled the code back. We listened to them. And, we showed them some of that love, that empathy. Also, I'm going to grow as a person. In any relationship, you want somebody that's going to support that growth. It's also going to challenge you. Technology is going to continually change. And I'm going to become a little more advanced. I want my product to keep up with me, or I'm going to find something else. Right? What works for me today is not necessarily going to work for me tomorrow. And also, I want to feel bigger than just myself. I want to feel part of something more than just myself. So likewise, as I want to contribute to maybe helping make a product better or providing feedback, I want to feel that it's bigger than just me using it. I want to be connected to a network of users or a network of people facing similar problems. So I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but it certainly did to me. It started to resonate with me to go, okay, this feeling love is being such a human feeling. It kind of makes sense that we would expect human needs to be fulfilled when we're using the software. Sitting next to a few of the designers in the office the other day, and they were saying to me, "Oh yeah, the way I look at apps is almost like dating. Sometimes I'll play around with a few, and I won't quite fully attach myself to one, or I have one core app, but I'm always looking for something more exciting and better, and I keep coming back to that core app because I don't find it." Or you're a little like me, and I fall in love really quickly with apps. And I'll download them, I'll think they're the best thing in the world, I'll start using them, and then I'll stop using them, and I don't delete my account, I kind of ghost them and ignore all of their emails and attempts to get me back. But There is a huge difference between just building product and making love. And if we understand that this is what it takes to have a product, or this is what it feels like when you're using a product that you do love, how do you actually build this? Can you make somebody fall in love with you? And one of the things I've noticed is a massive difference between those teams and those companies that can take a problem and execute it in a way that shows love and affection and care towards a customer, in a way that they feel it, and they feel that emotion back. And it all lies within the people that are building the products. Now, I would like to talk through some of the characteristics of these teams that I personally think are great and that are capable of making love in this context. And none of this should be, none of this should be new to you. You probably see a few things on there and you go, yeah, so what, I knew that. And that's great, that's good. Hopefully I reinstate a few of these things today. Now, diversity is a huge topic for a lot of people in a lot of organizations, but it is so important. So teams that are more diverse, they out-innovate, outperform those that aren't. And I think that's about 15% for gender diversity, but that goes up to a whopping 35% when you add cultural diversity to the mix. Being around people that are different from you, it challenges the way that you think. It makes you more creative. It makes you a better performer, generally. And it lends itself to creative and innovative thinking. And I'll tell you what, unless you're building an application that is targeting a specific niche of white middle-aged men, then make sure, please, that your team is not consisting only of white middle-aged men, because you'll completely miss your demographic and a connection with your customers. The team needs to be cross-functional. I see oftentimes, again, and this is getting a lot better, but the engineering team sits over here. You've got the product manager sitting over in one corner. You've got a QA guy sitting over there. And these guys are talking through requirements documents. They're not sitting together. They're not talking. They're not communicating. And this cross-functionality extends itself outside of the immediate team building the product too. In my mind, it expands out to customer service, expands out to the marketing team, to anybody talking and selling this product. There is a huge difference between teams that are brought together to work on a project versus teams that actually own the product that they're working on. Amazing things happen when a team sees the product they've been working on used by a customer. And it usually takes 2 or 3 goes to get this product right when it's out in the wild. You're going to have to iterate on this. It's not a matter of having an idea, building it, shipping it out in the wild, and then moving on to the next thing. Engineers, we've been working on products at Xero for years, and you can just see in terms of, especially if it's a long process to get something out the door, there's a period of time where the motivation kind of drops, right? They're not seeing anybody using. Nobody's touching this code that I'm writing. I'm kind of losing the purpose or the reason as to why I'm writing this in the first place. And then you get these customers in, whether or not you're shipping the product live or you're bringing customers in to do some usability testing, and all of a sudden that motivation rises again. The momentum rises, the speed of delivery rises. It's amazing how that chain effect happens. Now, you probably heard understanding the vision a lot, but I really mean it. There's often that companies will set a vision and hey, this is where we're going to go, but by the time that hits the development team, it's been through 25 different iterations of reinterpretation, and it doesn't make sense anymore. So, you sit there and you kind of go, we don't really care about this because we can't connect the dots. It's really important that the team knows where we're going or where the company's going. And this isn't something that's just set and forget. This is living and breathing every day. We're lucky at Xero, we have a very strong vision for the company. And that's, that we want to make small businesses better. Because better small businesses is great for the economy. It ends up in better schools, and more and better hospitals. And that is huge. That's something that can resonate with every single person in the company. It's not simply we want to make this much money by this date, which I can't relate to. These teams value culture over process. Okay? So it's not important how we get something done. What's important is the outcome. Now, This is a really hard one, and I think we don't put a lot of effort in understanding what this means. Now, you take a team that's really, really diverse, and you put them together, really diverse experts, this team is going to be very, very hard to lead and manage. A third of the world, I guess, third of failed initiatives amongst the world can be attributed purely to cultural clashes on teams. That's really significant. It's easy to have a team of like-minded people that all think the same, sit in a corner and do their job. They'll get along, they'll agree with everything. What we need to do is create an environment where it is safe for people with different mindsets and thought processes to challenge each other. Okay? We need to make it safe for these teams to fail. And this is so important. You're never going to get something right day dot. And what people tend to do is they think they have to. They think, if we release this to this customer, we're going to put a whole heap of marketing spiel around this and we're going to ship it, and it's gone, and maybe 10% of the expected users are using it, and we've failed. No, this isn't the way it is. You've got to be able to iterate, get it out the door, and companies have to allow this to happen. This one sort of speaks for itself, but I don't think we understand what this means enough. Loving somebody, as we mentioned before, it kind of means getting to know them, having a sense of empathy for them. It's not just knowing the customer from a persona point of view. And we often see these, we're not putting people in buckets here. We're getting to know how they think, what makes them tick, and how we can help their lives be better. And you don't do this by asking them, what feature would you like us to build? Or what's your biggest pain point? No, you go out and spend time with them. You watch them. You look for those, oh, wow, oh my God moments. I didn't realize you did that in that way. Or I didn't realize that this was where you spent all your time. And getting the engineering team to really be close to the customer is really important here as well. One of my first gigs as a product manager many moons ago, I picked up my whole engineering team and moved them next to the customer service team. And they cracked it big time. I was the worst person in the world and not very popular. It was noisy. It was right next to the kitchen. You could smell the lunch being reheated every day. But something amazing happened. All of a sudden, the bug count in the product dropped significantly. They were overhearing calls from customers on the phone. They're actually real people there on the other end now, not just a number or a target that this team was trying to hit. And this is the last one. More often than not, product managers will create a list of features that they want their teams to be building. They'll build these beautiful roadmaps, aesthetically pleasing roadmaps, and the team's expected to then execute and deliver on this. Now, product managers, designers in the room, close your ears for a second because you're not going to like this, but the single source of innovation is no doubt going to come from that engineer in the room. It's going to come from the engineer on the team. They're the ones who understand the technology. They understand where the technology is going. And if that engineer can understand the customer and the problem that you're trying to solve, you're going to get a lot more better ideas than what you're going to create in the shower while you're washing your hair. So get rid of the features on the roadmap and put some clear objectives on there. We're trying to achieve this, and this is why. And let the team get close to the customer to figure that out. So again, I really believe it's possible to make love over software, but it all starts with the team. And these are some of those characteristics again. I really want to save some time for questions, but again, difference between beautiful product that people are going to use has got nothing to do with aesthetics, process, anything else. It starts with an awesome team, basically. And that's me. Thank you very, very much.